Good morning, everybody. My name is Alvin Luke Gimon, and I'm studying in S2 ECA branch. And today I'm gonna be doing a presentation on data storage devices. So, these are the contents for today's presentation. Uh, let's move on to the first slide. Introduction. There are two types of digital information: input and output data. Users provide the input data, computers provide the output data. So basically, this point is telling that we should input the data. Whoever is using the computer or uh, whoever wants to input the data, they have to input the data in order for the computer to give a specific output which is decided by the user. But a computer CPU can't compute anything or produce output data without the user's input. User has to put the specific input in order to get a specific output. Data storage is the recording, storing of information in a storage medium. Data storage is the recording of information in a storage medium. Some authors even propose that DNA is a natural data storage mechanism. The natural DNA shows a similar mechanism to that of a data storage device. Moving on, data storage in a digital machine readable medium is sometimes called digital data. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. What is a data storage device? A storage device is any type of computing hardware that is used for storing, porting, or extracting data files and objects. So these are the main functions of a data storage device. Storage devices can hold and store information both temporarily and permanently. They may be internal or external to a computer, server, or computing device. As the point mentioned before, storage devices can hold and store information both temporarily and permanently. These are referred to the two different types of data storages in computer, mainly RAM and ROM, where RAM is the temporary information storage method and ROM is the permanent data storage method. So moving on to the next slide, we get to see the earliest forms of data storage devices. The first data storage devices weren't electronic. They range from stone tablets to pen and paper or punch cards, which were pieces of paper that communicated data to a machine through the presence or absence of holes at specific points on the card. These devices were some of the earliest where people used to punch on the paper, and these specific holes where the presence or absence of the holes will cause the machine to read it and give a this is how the data were communicated in the earlier times. The first real electronic storage device was the Manchester Mark I Williams Kilburn tube. This device was introduced in 1947 and was a cathode ray tube similar to ones used in television that stored binary data. This device was actually not that much useful and was a very big device. It was one of the earliest forms of electronic data storage device. So it was a huge leap into the data storage devices. So next we are going to see Edison cylinder phonograph, which was invented in 1899. The phonograph cylinder is a storage medium. The phonograph may be considered a storage device, especially as machines of this vintage were able to record on blank cylinders. So this is the working of Edison cylinder phonograph. Let's move on to the next slide. How does data storage work? In simple terms, modern computers or terminals connect to storage devices either directly through a network either directly or through a network. In simple terms, modern computers or terminals connect to storage devices either directly or through a network. These are the two methods. Users instruct computers to access data from and store data to these storage devices. However, at a fundamental level, there are two foundations to data storage: the form in which data takes and the devices data is stored and recorded. Users instruct computers to access data from and store data to the storage devices. So users give the input in order to store this data. Or whatever data the user wants to store, he or she can store it in these storage devices. However, at a fundamental level, there are two foundations to data storage: the form in which data takes and the devices data is recorded. Okay, the form in which data takes and the devices data is recorded. So these are the fundamental level of data storage. The two main categories of data storage devices. So to store data regardless of form, users need storage devices. Data storage devices come in two main categories: direct area storage and network based storage. Direct area storage, also known as direct attached storage, DAS. That is the full form of DS, direct attached storage, is as the name implies. This storage is often in the immediate area and directly connected to the computing machine accessing it. The storage is often in the immediate area and directly connected to the computing machine accessing it. DAS devices include floppy disk, optical disk, compact disks, and digital video disks, hard disk drives, flash drives, and solid state drives. So these are some of the most seen data storage devices which we all know are used worldwide: floppy disks, then CDs, DVDs, then HDD, which are used in most of the laptops, and SSD, which is used for storage of, which is a more faster storage device as compared to hard disk drive. Then we have networks based storage. Network based storage allows more than one computer to access it through a network, making it better for data storage, data sharing, and collaboration. Its offsite storage capability also makes it better suited for backup and data protection. Two common network-based storage setups are network attached storage (NAS) and storage area network (SAN). So network-based storage are becoming more common our uh, in our generation. These this method of data storage is more widely used as it takes much less space. It doesn't take any space at all as it is cloud computed. Cloud storage is one of the examples of network based storage. It allows more than one computer to access it, so many people can access it at one time. Moving on, the types of storage devices: SSD and flash storage. Flash storage is a solid state technology that uses flash memory chips for writing and storing data. A solid state disk SSD flash drive stores data using flash memory. So flash memory is the method through which a solid state disk flash drive stores data. it is very fast and very useful to store data. SSD is the more latest technology which is used in most of the latest laptops for very fast storage of data. It is also really good for gaming in gaming laptops. Hybrid storage SSDs and flash offer higher uh, throughput. SSDs and flash offer higher output than HDDs, but all flash arrays can be more expensive. So there's one disadvantage of SSD as compared to hybrid HHD. HHD is much cheaper as compared to SSD. SSD is much more expensive than HDD. So hybrid storage is another method in which SSD and HDDs are combined to form a hybrid storage device, which is also efficient but also cheaper. Then there's cloud storage. Cloud storage devices delivers cost-effective, scalable alternatives to storing files to on-premise hard drives or storage networks. Cloud services providers Cloud service providers allow you to save data and files in an off-site location that you access through the public internet or a dedicated private network connection. So this is mainly a method which is used where we have a proper internet connection. The internet connection is required to store the data in these cloud services. Cloud storage device is a much more efficient way of storing uh, data, and it is much cheaper than the other methods, and also it does not take up any space at all. So it's a very effective method of storage device. Moving on. Hybrid cloud storage. Hybrid cloud storage combines private and public cloud elements. With hybrid cloud storage, organizations can choose which cloud to store data. For instance, highly regulated data subject to strict archiving and replication requirements is usually more suited to a private cloud environment. So, if governments want to store their highly classified uh, data, it is mainly stored in private clouds, whereas public clouds are used for more for people to use on a daily basis. It is much public. It can be used by anybody. Then backup software and appliances. Backup storage and appliances protect data loss from disaster, failure, or fraud. They make periodic data and application copies to a separate secondary device and then use those copies for disaster recovery. So, in case there has been any problem with our storage device, or our computer, and all of our most of our data has been erased, a secondary copy will be taken in the backup software appliances, and it can be recovered, and we can use it in the computer in case such a situation occurs. So this is an image showing cloud storage. As you can see in the image, we can connect multiple devices at the same time and use this cloud storage in order to download or upload any files and data. There are different forms of data storage devices: direct attached storage, network attached storage, SSD flash disk arrays, hybrid flash arrays, hybrid cloud storage, backup software, backup appliances, and cloud storage. So Here are some of 10 digital data storage devices for computers. They are hard drive disks, floppy disks, tapes, compact disks, DVD and Blu-ray disks, USB flash drives, secure digital cards, solid state drives, cloud storage, and punch cards. These are some of the most commonly used data storage devices which we see in our day-to-day lives. Most of them have been outdated as floppy disk, tapes, CDs, DVD. These are all becoming very much outdated, and we mainly used we mainly use cloud storage, USB flash drives, SD cards, SSDs, and hard drive disks for our storage of data. So these are the different forms of data storage. As you can see in the figure, in the image given over here, there's SSD, there's hard disk, there's a SD card, there's a micro USB. Then there are different forms of data storage devices available for us today. So I'm gonna conclude this topic. Data transfer devices are necessary for the transfer of data. That is the main usage of data storage devices. So there are various forms of data transfer devices. Users instruct computers to access data from and store data to the storage devices. So without the input of the user, an output cannot be given by the computer. So the data transfer and the data storage is done by the user. The security of data storage devices should be improved in the coming years. As we all have seen, from the 1947, the first model of electrical data storage device, uh, that and from that to the latest SSDs and cloud storage, there has been a great leap or a great improvement in the different methods of data storage devices. So in the we are expecting a much more better and efficient methods for data storage, uh, and we are expecting newer data storage devices to come in the upcoming future. The security of data storage devices should be improved in the coming years. Okay. There has been large changes since the first data storage device. Okay, so that's what I said right now. And this concludes our today's presentation. These are the references that I have taken material from, and I would like to thank you all for your cooperation, and thank you all.